It's one thing to address performance issues that are focused more on technical skill, but how do you address a performance issue when it's all based on someone's behaviour? There's many examples I can think of where managers just don't know how to have these conversations to address behaviour. It's a difficult thing to do, it's a difficult conversation to have, it can be awkward, and it can just feel very uncomfortable. Imagine this very simple scenario. You've got someone coming to meetings late all the time, 15 minutes. They're never on time. Or perhaps it's an individual who's coming late to work every single day. Instead of arriving at 8:30 in the morning, they're arriving at 9:30 in the morning. And this kind of behaviour needs to be addressed. If it's not addressed, it can lead to a lot of tension within the team, and it can lead to frustration for yourself as well. A really simple model to use when you're having these conversations is called the SBI model. And this is simply a way to help you structure your conversation. So we first of all need to think about the S, the standards of behaviour. There may have never been a conversation with this individual. Maybe this individual thinks it's perfectly fine to arrive at work at 9:30 or to arrive at meetings at 1/4 the hour or 1/4 the starting time. And that may have been what was acceptable in their previous workplace. So you've got to start your conversation with the standard of behaviour. So sit down with them and say, well, these are the things that we need to do within this particular team. Here are our expectations. We want to start meetings on time. We want to start meetings, bang on the hour when those meetings are scheduled for. Talk about the fact that this is the culture and this is the standard norm for this particular team. Or about starting times. We expect everyone to be here at least by 9 o'clock in the morning. We understand there's flexibility and we want to focus on just getting the job done. But people need to have meetings. People might need to talk with each other in order to get the day started well. So we start with the standard. And we can't address a performance issue if we haven't first talked about the standards of behaviour that are required. So then we move on to the B part of the model, which is the actual behaviour that you're observing. And here's where you talk about with this individual about what you've actually observed. Now, to do this, imagine that if you put up a video camera on this individual, what would you actually see? And that needs to be then the description of the behaviour that you've observed. So this is not about personality, it's not about any character traits, it's simply about what have you observed. So you've observed this individual arriving to meetings 15 minutes late every single time. Now don't over-exaggerate. If this has only happened once or twice, then it's probably not an issue. But if it's happening every single time, then it is an issue that needs to be addressed. And if it goes unaddressed, it'll create a lot of tension and inefficiency within your team. The final part of the SBI model is impact. So when someone behaves that way, which is not aligned with the standards of behaviour that are expected, well, what's the impact? So someone coming to a meeting 15 minutes late, well, the impact is you may have to talk through the key points again, you might need to bring them up to speed, and that might end up blowing out the meeting by 15 minutes at the other end. So there has to be an impact. Again, if there's not an impact of their behaviour, well, what's the point? It's actually not an issue and not something that you need to even bother talking about. So when you're planning a conversation, think through those three elements. The standard of behaviour, the behaviour itself, and then also the impact of that behaviour. We have a template that you can download from the website to help you plan out one of these conversations. And we've also created a training course called Lead Effective Engineering Teams. There's some more ideas and solutions for you to help you have some of these difficult conversations.